You know what no one tells you about healthy relationships? They're not perfect. You can be wildly in love with someone and still feel frustrated, disappointed, and even a little lost, sometimes all in the same week or even the same day. You can be in a successful relationship and still sleep in separate bedrooms, still argue more than you'd like, and still carry issues that seem to never fully go away. So if your relationship doesn't look like a fairy tale 24/7, don't worry. You might actually be doing better than you think. And full disclosure, I'm a relationship coach and my marriage isn't perfect. Hi, gorgeous. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Mireille Nicole and I'm the creator of the Happily Ever After method. And I'm all about helping you tackle the tough stuff in love with grace and wisdom. I also post videos about non-toxic living and healthy eating. So if you're into that kind of stuff, I'd love for you to stick around and subscribe. Today, I'll be talking about what healthy relationships actually look like, the concept of informed optimism in love, and why I'm actually super grateful that my own relationship was never and likely never will be perfect, although I would say it's perfectly imperfect. Before we dive in, I want you to grab something that will change how you approach your love life, my free relationship success checklist. It's a quick reference sheet that gives you 25 daily actions you can choose from to increase your connection with your partner. I'll put the link in the description below. Okay, let's get one thing clear. Happily ever after doesn't mean perfectly ever after. We've all been sold this version of love that looks like a rom-com on repeat, or that everything has to be perfectly healed from our past, or that relationships are always 50-50. But in real life, you might sleep in separate bedrooms because one of you snores or needs a totally different sleep schedule to thrive or for work. You might keep your finances separate, not out of mistrust, but because it works better for your own personal growth and independence. You might be dealing with that one issue that just keeps coming up over and over, whether it's communication styles, in-laws, libido mismatches, career goals, like whatever it is, it might not magically disappear. Your partner might be emotionally immature at times, or your anxious attachment style might get the best of you every now and then. And yes, sometimes your fights don't look like what the couples therapist said they should look like. Does that mean that your relationship is doomed? Not at all. I've been open and honest about the ups and downs my husband and I have gone through as a couple. It started off our romance as a whirlwind, and then we had 3 solid years at rock bottom where I would just pray that we would just get through like one day without arguing. And now we're back into what I call the better than the honeymoon phase stage, and not because we've stopped arguing altogether or gone to couples therapy. By the way, we never went to couples therapy because my husband wasn't open to it, and I'm so glad we didn't go, knowing what I know now, because we've learned to grow through our imperfections individually and as a couple. The truth is, a healthy relationship isn't in the absence of conflict or imperfection, it's how you respond to them. There's a term I use with clients called informed optimism. It's that powerful, grounded belief in your relationship, not because you're blind to the problems, but because you understand them. You realize it's not the end. It's just another opportunity to use the tools and the skills that you've learned either through watching the videos on my channel, working with me, or with someone else to deepen your connection and reach a new level in your relationship. By the way, informed optimism is part of the emotional stages of change, and I did a whole video on this topic. I'll link to it up here if you want to watch it next. The informed optimism stage is when you're no longer clinging to a fantasy version of your partner. My husband crunches on chips and carrots like really loudly, and he can be sarcastic sometimes and probably always will be. You know, you're not trying to change someone in this stage. Sure, it annoys me sometimes, but whatever. I also tend to be more conservative with money, and my husband is you only live once kind of guy. And in this stage, I've learned to realize that we can find ways to overcome that or negotiate or compromise. So in this stage, you're accepting, but you're not settling, right? So despite my husband and I being opposites in many areas, deep down inside, I know he is my person, and my gut feeling confirms it every day. In this stage, you can love your partner and still take care of yourself. You haven't lost yourself in the relationship, and any anxiety you have is either lessened or manageable. You can also be invested in the relationship and still follow your own goals in this stage, whether he's supportive or not. I've actually noticed that in my personal experience, even, that the more you refine your relationship skills and understand your partner, the more supportive he will become towards your goals. In the informed optimism stage, you can show grace and understanding and still hold your standards. So the imperfections in your relationship don't mean anything about you as a person, and you understand that. And finally, you can experience conflict and recover quickly because you've built trust and emotional resilience, and you have the skills and you have the tools. In this stage, you move beyond the naive dream you had as a little girl and towards the informed dream of a powerful, wise woman. Having said that, in my opinion, that naive childhood dream is still amazing and worth honoring, so don't lose sight of that completely. But healthy relationships don't follow a one-size-fits-all rule book, and they might not look exactly the way you had pictured them, but they do have intentionality, respect, and resilience in common. Now listen, just because I'm saying relationships don't have to be perfect, it doesn't mean you should tolerate things that make you feel small, anxious, or unsafe. I want to be very clear here. If something feels off, don't ignore it. Don't rationalize it. Don't settle for the almost love that drains you or stay for a potential. I've left relationships for no logical reason. My intuition just told me to, and I followed it. Once I actually gave the relationship a second chance because I thought maybe I'm being too picky here. But the universe and my gut immediately confirmed my original suspicions. So you can absolutely leave. You don't owe anyone forever if forever means betraying yourself. But don't confuse that with just walking away the moment it gets tough. Sometimes the most powerful move is to pause, reflect, and do your own work first. Become the most loving, honest, empowered, and awesome version of you. And from that place, make your decision. Stay and build with intention or leave with clarity. Either way, you win. And let me be completely transparent with you because I never want to sit here talking to you as if I'm above the challenges I'm talking about. Even as a relationship coach, my own marriage isn't perfect. In fact, I'm incredibly grateful that it's not, because the hard moments, the misunderstandings, the disagreements, the moments where we've had to stop and really work through something, they have been my greatest teachers. They forced me to grow in ways I never could have if everything had been smooth and effortless. Because of those challenges, I've learned how to argue effectively without destroying connection. I've had to emotionally mature to stop reacting in the moment and start listening with curiosity to my partner instead of defensiveness. My level of self-awareness has skyrocketed because when you're in a loving but imperfect marriage, you're constantly confronted with the ways that you can improve yourself. And this has inspired my different courses and the coaching that I do with women across the world to support them and their relationships. Honestly, I believe if everything had been perfect from the start and just stayed that way, it would have been boring, right? It would have been almost pointless from a spiritual perspective, right? There's no growth in imperfection, there's no depth, there's no resilience. But when you've gone through the tough stuff together, when you've learned how to communicate, how to compromise, how to stay connected through the storms, your satisfaction is going to be so much higher. You're going to look at each other and think, wow, like we can overcome anything and look how far we've come. And that's a far deeper kind of love than perfection could ever give you. Plus, if you believe you're on some sort of spiritual journey on this earth, like I've come to believe, then the challenges in love, they all make sense. So if your relationship doesn't look perfect on the outside, but there's love, commitment, growth, and honesty inside, you might be in something very real and very worth holding on to. And if it's not aligned with the dreams you had as a little girl, well, you get to rewrite that dream. Before you go, don't forget to download the Relationship Success Checklist. It's going to help you recognize what's working, what's not, and where to go from here. If this video gave you a fresh perspective, let me know in the comments. What's one way your relationship is perfectly imperfect? I'd love to hear your stories. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new conversation about love, growth, and real relationships. And if you know someone who needs to hear this message, send them this video. It might be exactly what they need. Now watch this video next.